Straddle and welcome to Move Well, Live Well. We get a number of people that come in here, athletes in particular, who are looking to find a great abdominal core exercise. And a number of them have challenged us with one of the hardest exercises for the core. And this is an homage to the late great Bruce Lee, who has been credited with this particular core exercise. It's the dragon flag. So I got Dr. K here, and we're going to go through some prerequisites for being able to perform the dragon flag and break down some of the progressions so that way you can get to a point where you can do the dragon flag. So join us, shall you? Okay, I got Dr. K here, and she is going to go through the first. These four things. We're going to go through some planks. We're going to go through some planks first, and this is a prerequisite. So you should be able to do a plank. So let's do a kind of a push-up position plank there, Dr. K. And let's go into a push-up kind of position plank. And she should also lock out her elbows. Get her elbows locked out. You're kind of going to go into a little bit of a protracted shoulder, and then you're going to go into a posterior pelvic tilt for me. So posterior pelvic tilt. So you're going to, in other words, you're going to flatten out your back. So you're going to flatten out the back, flatten out the back, flatten out the back, flatten out the back. So that's the key thing with this. So this is a prerequisite. So you should be able to hold these 30 seconds to a minute minimum for this particular plank. And then also you should be able to do an elbow plank. So let's go down to an elbow plank there, Dr. K. So this is an elbow plank. And again, she should protract your shoulder just a little bit. So protraction of the shoulder protraction. So you're gonna protract your shoulder. So you're pushing with your shoulders forward. Yep. And then you're gonna go into a slight posterior pelvic tilt. So the key thing here, if you look at Dr. K's low back, this is what the big thing here with a plank. You want to make sure you're kind of almost flattening out that back. That's the key thing. A lot of people go into extension for me. So go there. Yeah, you don't want to dip down like that. So what you want to engage the glutes, and you want to go into a posterior pelvic tilt. So that butt should be contracted into this particular position. So again, elbow, plank here. These are prerequisites. Also, so now let's go back into so from this plank, so 30 seconds to a minute in these planks. Now also, you should be able to walk out with these planks. In other words, so now going to a push-up plank like that, perfect. Now you're gonna walk backwards for me. Go ahead and walk backwards for me. And you see how now her hands are starting to move forward. So you're basically holding it's almost like an opposite hollow body position, kind of like in gymnastics. And you can see how her back is not going to extension. So you don't want to go into extension. Show that extension real quick for me. Yeah, you don't want to dip down like that. You want to go into a posterior pelvic tilt. And there you go. And then go ahead and go down to the elbow plank and then walk out there too. Elbow plank and then walk backwards there. And you're going to stretch. Yep, perfect. Again, you should be able to hold these for 30 seconds to a minute. See, this is one of the prerequisites to be able to do a dragon flag. So those are the planks, an elbow and push-up position, and you should be able to walk out a little bit, holding those for 30 seconds to a minute. In a second here, we're going to move on to another prerequisite called hollow body holds. All right, now the second prerequisite, we've got this from gymnastics, are the hollow body holds. So go ahead and go into a full hollow body hold there, Dr. K. And you can kind of see her hands are up off the mat. Her shoulders are also a little bit off the mat. And then her feet are off the mat as well. And her back should be flat or flush against the mat. And again, you should be able to hold these for about half a minute to a minute. And again, this is the second prerequisite for being able to do the dragon flag. This is a hollow body hold. So practice those, make sure you get those down. That way we can move on to the next prerequisite. All right, so now the third prerequisite is the supine leg raise. So Dr. K here is supine, or laying on her back. And all she's doing is she's raising her legs all the way up. So she's starting from the bottom, going all the way up. All the way up. And you should even bring your glutes off the mat. So now there you go. Bring the glutes up off the mat for me. So keep going the other way. And now you want to get your shoulders, so that way you're almost all the way on your shoulders. There you go. So keep going and do it again. So leg raise down and then leg raise up. Good, and get that glute up off the mat. These are leg raises. Again, the key thing here is keeping that back flat against the mat. If you find that your low back is coming up off the mat, go ahead and show a modified leg raise, Dr. K, where you're not going down as far. So you start with your legs all the way up in the air, and then you just come down. And then once you feel that low back up off the mat, you come back up. So these are modified here. You won't be able to go all the way down. So these are the modified ones. But again, the prerequisite is a full leg raise. So from the ground all the way up to be able to start doing dragon flags. So there you go, perfect. So the last progression is you should be able to do what they call the candle pose. This is from yoga, also known as the shoulder stand. The Sanskrit, I'm going to pronounce this, I'm going to botch this, but I'm going to try it here. The Sanskrit name is Salom Ba Sarvangasana, and it literally means supported by your limbs. So let's go into a candle pose there, Dr. K, and you can kind of see here with Dr. K doing it. She's on her shoulder. She's not on her neck. It kind of gives you the illusion she's on her neck, but she's not. Most of her weight should be on her shoulders here. And you should be able to hold these poses for at least 30 seconds to a minute. So work on these, and these are the prerequisites before you start exercising and working towards your dragon flag. In just a second here, we're going to switch, and I'm going to show you some progressions before you can do your dragon flag. So here we go. We're going to go into the dragon flag now. I've set up, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways you can do it. One of them being in a power rack like this. On the side of the power rack, I've set up the power rack here with the safety bars low like this. I'm going to hold on to it. Obviously, you need something to hold on to. So I'm going to go on my back just like this, and I'm going to grab the power rack right here and relatively close to my head. There's only just a few inches of space here between the rack and my head here. So I'm going to hold it right here. And then what you're going to need to do is, again, that's why we went through those prerequisites. You have to be able to get into that candle pose. So here I am in the candle pose right here. I'm going to go into my posterior pelvic tilt like that, keeping the body straight. And I'm going to come down. Boom. And that's your dragon flag for in the power rack. The key thing in all of these is you want to protect that low back. That's the biggest key. So that's why I cannot emphasize enough the importance of that posterior pelvic tilt. You're going to activate the glutes and the abs to protect this. Because a big fault in this is as they get to here, they start to go into extension. They'll get to where their legs come out like this, and then they'll go into extension because they can't hold this. So by going to the posterior pelvic tilt, my back flattens out, and I can go into that full dragon flag. So keeping that back flat into that posterior pelvic tilt is key. So in just a second here, we're going to go into the bench, onto a bench, and I'll show you how to do the dragon flag on there. Okay, so now I've got the handy dandy bench here. We're going to do the dragon flag on here. The grip is going to be a little bit different. On the power rack, I was holding like this. With the bench, it's going to be a little bit different. So you're going to sit down on the bench just like if you're going to do any other exercise on the bench. So you sit here like this, and you can come back. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab the bench. See? Here. So just above my ears is where I kind of like to place it. And again, you're going to go into that candle pose, right? You're going to go into the candle pose here. Go ahead and set up. Make sure you're nice posterior pelvic tilt, keeping that rigid. You come down. Boom. That's your dragon flag for on the bench. So again, key element, that posterior pelvic tilt to protect that low back from going into extension. Again, we're borrowing this. That's why we went to the prerequisites of the hollow body hold that Dr. K performed. Borrowed that from gymnastics to protect that low back. In just a second here, we're going to go through 4 progressions that you can do so that way you can start achieving that dragon flag and become just like Bruce Lee. Okay, the first progression, I call them dragon flag tuck extensions. I'm doing this on the floor because it's a wider base of support than the bench. You're welcome to do this on the bench as well, but I usually tell folks to use a wider base of support like the floor. Again, I'm using a good old power rack here. You can use I can use a post of the power rack too if you wanted to, but I just like that nice grip that I get with the safety bars. So the tuck, dragon flag tucks with the knee extension. So again, make sure you get those prerequisites though. So this is the next step after the prerequisites. So here you are, you're gonna go into a tuck. See this? And you're gonna tuck and you're gonna lift the butt up onto the seat. So it's kind of like a modified candle. Remember the candle is this, right? This is the candle pose. This is a modified candle. So I'm in a tuck. And all I'm doing is extending, going into the candle pose. And then as I get in better and better, I can tuck and kick out. See that? Tuck and kick out. See that? You seeing that there? Mm-hmm. Start getting better, and then pretty soon you're tucking and you're kicking out farther and farther. As your legs come down like this, it becomes more and more difficult. And you're getting to the point where you can almost do the dragon flag. So that is the dragon flag tuck with knee extension, with extending out. So again, here you are. You're going to go into a tuck. And see that? Yeah. And then you can go farther and farther. See that? See that? Mm-hmm. And then as you do that, again, the key, can't emphasize it enough. I'm going to keep repeating it. I don't care if you guys comment and I'm repeating myself too much. You want to go into that posterior pelvic tilt. You want to make sure you're protecting that back. Anytime you go into a little bit of extension, you may have to back off and move up a little bit. So that way it's not so difficult for you. So that's the first progression. In a second here, we're going to go through the second progression. All right, now the second progression is the use of eccentrics. Remember, we are stronger in the eccentric motion of an exercise. So as the muscles elongate, they eccentrically, we're stronger in that position. So in that movement. So we're going to do a dragon flag eccentric. So we're going to go into the candle pose here. So just like this. We're going to go into the candle pose. Here we are. Get set up in the posterior pelvic tilt, keeping that tight. We're going to go through eccentric. So in other words, we're just going to come down, and we're going to see how long we can hold this here. Just nice, slow, keeping that. All the way down. That's the eccentric. Practice those over and over and over again. Because remember, you're stronger going down than you are coming up. So that is the dragon flag eccentric. And again, posterior pelvic tilt as you're coming down. Control that weight. It also helps to grip the bar. You can feel it in your triceps and your lats as you do this exercise. And so that is the dragon flag eccentric. In just a second here, we'll go to two more progressions. So now that you're practicing that dragon flag eccentric, we're going to do a dragon flag. We're going to work on the concentric, and we're going to start off with the dragon flag tuck. And just kind of like, that's why the candle pose is so important, because this pretty much kind of goes over that, the candle pose. So a dragon flag tuck is you're going to come into a tuck like this. See that? Your legs are tucked at 90 degrees, and all you're doing is here. Boom. See that? I'm in a tuck candle tuck. I'm coming down. Boom. concentric, eccentric. Boom. That is the dragon flag tuck. And now it's just a matter of keeping your legs straight and doing them. So that's the dragon flag tuck. Now you just extend your legs out, back and forth, up and down, and you got your dragon flag. The next progression from the tuck is a dragon flag straddle. So what you do is you're on your back here, and you're going to straddle. You're going to spread your legs apart like this. See that? So your legs are farther apart. It's easier to do this movement with your legs farther apart. So here I am. I'm going to go into the candle pose, but instead of my feet being straight up like this, see? My feet are straight up like this. I'm going to straddle. I'm going to come down. Boom. And that's your straddle dragon flag. Then you get to a point where you do the full dragon flag, where you have your feet together. Just like this. And that is your dragon flag. So, make sure you get those prerequisites down. Go through those 4 progressions that we talked about. And eventually, you'll be doing the dragon flag just like Bruce Lee, in honor of him, the master himself. Anyway, if you have any questions with this video, drop it off in the comment section below. We thank you for watching. We appreciate it. If you're new to this channel, hit subscribe. And when you hit subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification button, because that'll keep you in the loop with subsequent videos coming here in the near future. That way you can continue to move well, live well. Also, if you know people who are looking to add extra depth into their abdominal workout or core workout, share this with them. It's going to help them be able to achieve one of the most difficult core exercises there is and honor the master himself, Bruce Lee. Also, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. It lets us know you care. Anyway, want to thank Dr. K for helping us out today with the prerequisites. And anyway, we thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.